Whether you're a professional carpenter, handyman, or homeowner, I've got a tool here I want to show you that's going to make life a whole lot easier. Now, we use a miter saw for cutting our moldings, for our base moldings and our crown, but I'm remodeling the master bath, so I got a couple of closets here that don't come out square, and with the angle that cuts across, I'll just cut to the chase and say this ought to be a 22.5 degree angle, but it's not. So what I want to do is I don't want to just measure twice and cut once. I want to measure once and make sure that angle's spot on. So what I'm going to do is show you a tool here, and I wish I'd have been the guy that invented this. This is ingenious. This is the Saker miter saw protractor. And the nice thing about this, we can do single cuts, we can do miter cuts, and I'm going to use this to measure and mark what this outside angle corner is going to be, as well as what the inside angle corner is going to be. Now, the moldings I'm using are not a standard molding. Normally baseboard's about 3.5 inches. What I'm using is a 4 1/4. And because of the height of this, I have to use a 12-inch miter saw. And because I use a 12-inch miter saw, I want these cuts on this molding to be just right. So I've used this device to get that angle. And I'm going to show you a picture of how I use it with the miter saw. And I've got my angle. And I am spot on. If you'll notice, we're going with miter cut. And it says use the inner scale reading to set the miter saw settings for an accurate miter cut joint. And right now, that's not 22.5, that's coming in at 19 degrees. So 19 degrees is what I've got to cut that angle for. For a miter cut, use the inner scale reading to set the miter saw settings for an accurate miter joint cut. And we're going for 19 degrees. And the miter saw has automatic detente at 22.5, and we want to take that down to 19 degrees. That gets us on one side. And since we're swinging left, this is for an outside miter. Now, because this is 4 1/4 for the profile height, we're using a 12-inch miter sliding compound miter saw. So that's 19 degrees on that side. Now for this gauge, we'll disengage and we'll swing it around to the other side. 22.5. And we'll come back to 19 degrees, right on the mark. Lock it in. And that'll give us a nice clean cut. And I've taken the liberty to show you how that works, but here's these two pieces that I used. So I did a test fit, and I have a perfect fit, one cut. All I need to do, put that together with some glue, and I've got a perfect joint. I got to tell you, that's sweet. That's a time saver. That way we can work smarter, not having to work harder. And the same thing applies for an inside corner. This is also handy for cutting crown mold. It comes with a piece of paper that outlines the measurements on how to lay that out, so I strongly suggest you take a look at that. I've done it old school, so the way I cut crown, and I'll show that in another video, is for me it's always upside down and backwards, and I'll show you what I mean. All I have to have is whatever this angle is, and I can bisect that angle with this device, and I'm in business. I'm stoked. I like the way it's laid out. It's aluminum, it's lightweight, but it's got some heft to it. Fits in the palm of my hand, so I can carry it in a toolbox, I can carry it in my pouch, I can carry it in my pocket. But this is a tool to hang on to. It's got a couple of holes in it that I can hang it. It's also got a set screw on the back so that I can adjust the tension. And believe you me, the tension on this is good. But this is great for inside angles and outside angles. This is something everybody ought to have, anybody that does woodworking. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.